So on today's episode of How to Spend Lots of Money, we're going to talk about how we can transform your car from drab to absolute awesome. I'm going to teach you how not to use a trolley jack and also how to crush your fingers when you take one of these things out. Then at least we can do something fun. We get to bolt on some shiny stuff. So hang around, see if you like it. Alright, so two things that I want to achieve out of putting bush barriers on the car. One, signage. To be blunt, obviously it's a YouTube channel. It needs some sort of recognition, I guess you'd call it, or at least some. It's sound arrogant, just to stand out a bit. It's literally so this thing stands out and it just draws a crowd. That's what it's designed for. Second, I did think about sort of doing paint, like a wrap or something on this, but then if you look down the side of the car, there's lots of these little dents, just lots of little golf ball sized dents down the side of the car, especially the passenger side. So look down here, there's like a kink in the door here, a big kink here, another dent there, just another sort of half dent there. Like there's lots of little things on the side of the car that we're going to take a hell of a lot of fixing up to get ready for either a wrap or a respray. I didn't want to spend the money on a respray. I've sort of come to the idea, including a wrap actually. I was talking to someone about doing it, they were going to help me out, but I decided just to not go down that avenue. Mostly because I wanted this to stay, how do I describe it? I want it to stay cheap. That way, if I damage it, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I haven't put 6, 7, 8 grand into respraying it or all this time and effort. Not that I don't want to care about it, but I won't be as precious about it, and I can actually just use it, which is exactly what I want it to do. Like Betty is to be precious about and look after. Betty's got its own dramas at the moment, and Gumby is to abuse. Like, sounds bad when I say it that way, but Gumby is for the hard tracks. Gumby is for the stuff that I don't want to take Betty up. So bush barriers are the perfect thing for me. They're super cheap. What are they, like $800-900 a set? It gets all the signage on the car for me, sponsorships as well, and it makes it look cool. Well, you guys can decide that soon, but the design I went for, love it, absolutely love it. All right, so if you've never had bush barriers before, they come in a box like this, just big old plain box. So we'll just do a really quick unboxing. I'm gonna bang them on the car. Gumby looks good. I like it. Alright, see what they're saying, I have to cut out around the snorkel. They've got patterns for certain things, but not others. I know on Betty they've got the pattern that already cuts around both the Stano and the Safari snorkels. So clearly I didn't have it for this one, or I didn't tell them, I may have forgotten. But obviously everything's on. You'll notice though there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. It's cold here at the moment. It's Melbourne after all. Some of the edges might not be fully down. As soon as you get a little bit of heat on them, that's just going to stick to the car, and it's going to be phenomenal. Because obviously it's a relatively thick magnet. It's got some rigidity to it, which you want. As soon as you get some heat, it becomes a little bit more pliable, sticks to the car, molds to the car a bit better. Generally overnight is enough to sort of let that happen. So normally I'm putting this on the day before I go. Have done it plenty of times where I've gone away, chucked it on the day. It's been perfectly fine. If you're worried about it on the highway, I've done the speed limit with Betty with these on, and I've never lost a panel yet. If you are worried though, and it's super cold when you put them on, maybe just a little bit of duct tape or something on the leading edge on the front two panels. That is all you will ever need to hold them on. I've personally never lost a panel on the highway or anywhere else for that matter. Running Betty, sort of see there. That's what I meant about. Like you get a bit of heat into that, and that's just gonna sort of just conform to the body a whole lot nicer. But it is what it is. But the best part, when you stand in that Kia, it just looks like a complete wrap on the car. Like that is, oh, that came up better than I thought it was gonna, honestly. I knew it was gonna be cool, but that just made it become Gumby. Big Gumby.
So have you ever got the desire to try and do stuff yourself and just give things a go? That's pretty much what this entire project is for me, and I make a couple of pretty stupid mistakes further up in the video, and it'll become evident what I'm doing wrong soon. But if you ever get that urge to sort of just do a project, slap yourself around and stop, because my god, it is a never-ending money pit of just doing stuff to old four-wheel drives. It's crazy how much money I've actually spent on this car already. So this whole build only cost me, or this whole car only cost me $4,000 when I originally bought it, and I've already put probably 4 times the price of the car back into the car. So obviously here I've managed to get some lockers off of Facebook Marketplace. They're already in diffs, so I've just got to take the old one, the diff center out, and put the new one straight in. I don't have to actually install the locker into the centers or anything else like that. It's just changing them over. But I'm not a mechanic's asshole, so I don't, or I have never done anything like this before. I'll build you a whole house, no dramas at all. But mechanical stuff, I know enough to get me out of trouble, but this is a whole new realm for me of just giving stuff a go. I'm a pretty cluey guy, so I tend to figure stuff out. Plus, you know, YouTube's pretty handy. So you can see here, I'm just trying to get the axles out of this so I can get the diff center out. I've seen a lot of people say don't hit the outside of that axle cone, because you just want to try and get the cones out so you can hit the end of the nuts to release the cone washers, and then everything else comes with it. And it works great. You bang on the end of it. That's why I left the nuts in there slightly, just so I could basically hit on the nut rather than the actual end of the thread and ruin the thread. I want to take the axle out. This is officially the first time I've ever taken an axle out of a car. So I'm fascinated. Like, cool. What's it look like in the end? How big's the spine? Oh, is the spine bent? Because I've seen this done, but I've never done it myself. So having that I don't know if it's that courage, but just the ability to have a second full drive that I can pull apart, and if it's wrecked, it doesn't really matter. For like worst case scenario, I get it towed down to a full drive shop, and they can help me fix it. That's my worst case scenario, or it just goes away in a tilt train and I never see it again. But you know, I'll try and get it fixed first. Essentially, one side's apart, taking the other side apart now. You can see, obviously, electric tools make the job a whole lot easier. Highly recommend using actual drills rather than just socket sets all the time. Sockets to help break it and stuff, but obviously they take time to get them out. You can see here hitting on the end of the nut again to try and loosen those cone washers, and you'll sort of see it just pop out slightly.
Alright, problem with old cars. There's 2 dowels and there's 2 holes you need to be able to put a bolt into when it comes out. I think both holes have got broken bolts in them. I'm fairly sure that's a dowel, that's a dowel, that's a broken bolt, and that's a broken bolt. That's going to make life hard. Alright, I'll see if I can break the seal all the ways, and then, yeah, anyway. This just got fun.
So I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to do it, and I settled on just shoving a chisel in between there and prying it out. That was my my brains just going, yeah, just pry it. So, and it worked. So it didn't end too bad. I don't think I damaged the seal there. So, and there was no gasket on the rear ones anyway. So there was no gasket to worry about. I ended up just putting some gasket goo stuff back in there to put them back in later. Obviously you can see I'm trying to stay as clean as I can, so using as many rags, a whole bag of rags, basically try and stay as clean as I can. I've already drained the diff oil out here, and just trying to get the rear tail shaft off. And this diff center, my god, I actually thought I forgot some bolts with this one. It was so tight in there, could not get it to budge whatsoever. And I was just trying to brainstorm, how can I actually get enough leverage on this? Because I didn't want to just shove a chisel in between there because I knew this surface was super important to not score or blemish. So it was, how do I get this out without completely wrecking it? Back to my bad jack idea. But you know, is it really a bad idea if it works? That's my question to you. Maybe put it in the comments. Is it a bad idea if it still works? You see here, put a fair bit of tension on there, and waiting. Boom. I suppose it's not really that bad idea because it did. It just popped it and it was nice. Then I can get some leverage in there and try and pry it away for the last of that seal. But back to that whole idea of taking on projects that you don't know anything about. There's so many people out there that message me saying that they've broken something, they've done this or done that, and it's always the what's the best shop to take it to. And sometimes, in my mind anyway, it can be super simple things that they can fix at home, but they're just not willing or feel they have the knowledge to give it a go. This is exactly what I'm trying to teach myself here. I have no knowledge of any of this stuff. I'm figuring it out as I go, and I'm busting a nut, as you're about to see, trying to get it in. So I think the message would be, if you've got a basic set of tools and it's not a super critical part of the car that has to be right, so I wouldn't recommend playing with brakes and stuff because that's sort of fairly critical to actually stopping and road safety and to other road users as well. So stuff like brakes and maybe some suspension stuff, probably send to a full drive shop if you're not 100% confident. But there's certain things on cars that I reckon everyone should be given a crack if they're that way inclined, and it's a good skill to have. I'm trying to learn new skills with this entire project of how do I learn something, and what else can I pass on to my kids. I'm hoping Gumby is around long enough that I can actually work on the car with Toby and Piper, and we can have some good family time together. You can see here with the rear axle, just putting a little bit of gasket glue just on that inside edge there, just so I can reseal it. This is basically what was on there when I took it off with my hand right in the middle of the camera. It's a great shot. Love it. I really need to work on my camera skills, clearly. But with the kids, hopefully one day, because I'm getting older, when I drop that nut and bolt, I can send Toby under there to go get it rather than me. And isn't that why you have kids? Just so you can get them to get you stuff? Surely that's why you have kids. Surely. Alright, so obviously I've already got the rear diff back in and just lining all these back up here. It should be nice and easy, sealed on there. You can see the bearing inside there as well. So with the rear ones, you don't actually have to touch the rear bearings at all. It's just take those, I can't remember how many it was now, so 8 bolts, whatever it is. I can count them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Take those 6 bolts out and the whole axle just slides out. It's super simple on the rear. I'm about to find out though, on the front it is a completely different ballgame, and I was probably a little bit in over my head when it came to the front. And just to start off your afternoon, nice shot of my arse, so hopefully you enjoy that, and I'm sorry for the scarring that I'm about to provide to you. I'm sorry. Alright, so with the front there is a whole lot more to it, so it's still the same nuts, cone washers to get out. So this one I found it worked nicely just to sort of, I still hit them with the hammer and then I get a little chisel just to finish them off to get them all the way out. There is twin locking nuts on the inside from memory. You need this special tool. I had to buy it off eBay. It's don't quote me on it right this second, but it's like a 57mm socket or something or other, which flung the grease around really good. So probably don't use that on a drill like I did. Probably use a socket for that one. So avoid what I said earlier about using power tools on this job. So far the lesson is don't listen to me. So there's an outer locking ring, and then in between there's this little flange. So essentially this gets bent over the inner locking ring to help it stop spinning so it can't automatically undo itself. You can see it there. See how it's bent over a bit. I ended up flattening that out and just reusing it. You should probably buy a new one, but yeah, been a tight ass. This is where I make a little bit of a mistake, I think. So I don't really know how to get this hub off. So I think, oh, I'll just keep undoing bolts until I can figure it out. So I'm undoing essentially the hub from the disc rotor, which doesn't need to be done, because I start pulling on it going, oh crap, it come apart. Huh. And you can see the confusion on my face of, I have no idea what I'm doing here. But as I said, we're all learning and we're figuring it out as we go. That is literally why I'm doing these videos, to try and figure it out, and hopefully to give some encouragement.
Alright, so I was under the understanding that I had to take off that hub to get the inner one out of it. Turns out I don't, it just came off, so probably just chuck those bolts back in, and then when it goes back on, all this goes back on the Osborne unit, I think. I hope, unless something's come awry, but I don't know. No, because the locking pin holds have it. No, so that should be right. So it's yeah. So I didn't need to undo the those extra. I don't even know what you call that. The hub onto the seal or something. Not sure. Anyway, now it's time to take off the inner seal shroud, and then I should be able to get the CV out, and we should be good to get diff out. The front is a lot harder than the back.
So at this point, I'm quietly optimistic that I can figure out what's going to go on, but who really knows? I'm also thinking about, I haven't actually taken this thing full driving at all yet. So I've invested, I think the lockers off Facebook Marketplace cost me around, I think it was $3,600 as a kit, and obviously I just had to change them out. And then you add in oil, so there's another $150 worth of diff oils and stuff. So call it a round figure. By the time you do gas, it goes $4,000 to basically get front and rear lockers into the car. It's a chunk of money, but it's still cheaper than sort of getting a shop to do it, that's for sure. It would have been a whole lot more than $4,000 to get someone else to install them. That included diff gears as well, so same thing, don't quote me on the exact thing, but I think the factory diff gears are 4.3s, and these ones are 4.7s from memory. Could be completely wrong, but anyway, it's a high diff ratio to equate for the 35-inch Good Ride mud tyres that are going that were already on the car, because I couldn't resist and actually bolted them on early. So enjoy that. That's anyway, on beadlock rims too, so completely legal.
On the benefit, the seal underneath is still pretty good, so it's not the end of the world. So maybe hold that rather than just hit it. That's a bit silly. Alright, I'll put this out of the way, get that CV out, and then we are good to take the diff out.
So once again, it's an absolute first for me. I have never ever taken a CV out before. I've also never broken one on a car, so this is all new to me. You can see the fascination on my face of I have no idea what I'm doing still, even though I'm balls deep in this build. But I haven't broken it yet, so it's a win-win really, so can't complain.
At least now I know what I'm in for later on when I break these things. So this isn't just about right now, this is about when I start using this thing a bit harder, I start breaking things. I know what could break and what I'm looking at when I go searching later. So that's part of what I wanted to do about learning this stuff. Isn't just about sending it to a shop and it's fixed. It's if I've got a bit of mechanical sympathy because I know where the weak points are just by looking at this stuff, and if and when I do break it, at least I've got the skill to pull something apart on the track just to get me home, then I can pull it into the shed, fix it in my own time. One, it's cheaper. Two, I know what I'm doing. So that's what this learning curve is about for me. This is officially the first time I've ever taken a CV out of a car, so hooray for me. It's I think I'll do tail shaft. Looks like I've probably got to take the steering link out of the way as well, because that's going to hit, and then I can drop the diff out. At least the front one's lighter, well it's smaller, so it should be lighter. It's hot. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hot as pup. Alright, yeah, at least try and get the tail shaft out today, I reckon. See how we go.
So now that on camera Steve has shut up, I can get back to talking about my story. I've never actually taken Gumby proper wheeling yet. Well, I have now, as of the time of editing this video, I have. But at this point in the build, when I'm still putting stuff together, I haven't actually taken it on a full drive track yet. I've obviously put the Fulcrum suspension in there. I'm now doing lockers. I've already done the compressor. I've done a bit of stuff behind the scenes that, you know, no one wants to watch a locker get installed, airline get installed, so I didn't bother filming that stuff. But I'm also nervous about how is this car going to perform. Like, I think I've fixed the motor in previous episodes of what was wrong with it, with the wrong injectors and whatnot. But how's it going to go? Is it going to overheat on the first big long hill? Is it going to ride really horrible? Is it going to just not perform the way I want it to perform? Am I putting all this money into a 4-wheel drive for something that is going to be absolutely horrible, as I nearly dropped the front diff on the ground, but it catches on the steering link? So win-win right there. So there's a little bit of unknown. So this is definitely not the way that I would suggest to build a 4-wheel drive if it's your only 4-wheel drive. Generally, it's always done along the lines of you go out driving, you find the limitation, you upgrade something. So you might go, oh, rear locker is going to be really good. So you'd buy a rear locker, put it in, go driving again. And then you'd find the limitation of the next thing. There might be a front locker, or you might go bigger tyres, or you might go a brake upgrade because you've got bigger tyres and you're finding it's really sloppy to stop. Or there's lots of little modifications that you do at separate times and learn each thing as you go. So you'd need to learn, how does that rear locker actually work for you? Now that you've got it in and you're using it, how does it work? Like, learn how to use a rear locker only before you go and get a front locker. And then once you've got the front locker, learn how the front locker works and learn how twin lockers work, rather than the way I'm doing it. But in the same note, I've been 4-wheel driving for 20 odd years. I've had twin lock cars my entire time I've ever had a 4-wheel drive. Well, that's a lie. My first 4-wheel drive wasn't twin locked, it was rear locked. But I've had twin locked cars for a long time. So I know how cars would react normally, but if you're just learning this stuff, I would not suggest go out and spend all this money. Don't throw the ARB catalogue at your car when you don't know what each of those parts does. Also, you're about to see me get very, very, very frustrated at this stupid thing. I'd managed to fill the front diff already, and this stupid Tom Thumb thing was giving me the shits. And it kept getting jammed.
Anyone got something better than a Tom Thumb? This one is crap. It just keeps jamming up. I don't know why. You try and pull off the freaking lid from something. I think it's cooked. They don't need to fill it today. Annoying as hell.
So that's actually going to make a full episode for this one. You can see here on the next episode we're doing Raslar bar work. Super excited about that stuff. So hang tight for next week when you can see all the bar work going Gumby. And it's almost ready to go. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And can't wait to see you next week. Thanks, guys.